Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros Review. In this episode, Terror in the Jungle from 1968. Now, this film was also known in West Germany as Flight 413 to Rio Does Not Report. Now, this film was released originally on November 1968 in New York City, and then in West Germany on the 7th of September 1985. It was directed by Tom DeSimone, who directed the plane sequence, Andrew Jange, who directed the jungle sequence, and Alejandro Gratan, who directed the jungle sequence. Now, it was one of a number of Crown Pictures international titles that had been acquired by Mill Creek Home Entertainment and issued onto some of them various massive multipacks. Despite evidence showing that this reviewed print is not complete, it looks to be in good condition. Now, when 4-year-old Henry Clayton Jr. is put onto an economy flight from Los Angeles to Rio by his father in order to visit his mother in Rio, little does little Henry realize is that he's going to be having quite an adventure. The plane he happens to be flying on is filled with a wild assortment of characters. There's quite an odd bunch, to be certain. There's 2 nuns escorting the dead body of their Mother Superior, a starlet actress going to Rio for a part in the Spanish musical, knowing fully well that she's going to be dubbed, so reading lines won't be a thing in this role. A mogul who's lighting businesses and porn, just listen to his introduction when he talks to the starlet. A trio of middle-aged goofball musicians sporting stupid wigs with a wind shear. And the murderess who was acquitted of murdering her bank robber husband, despite her actually doing it, and leaving the country with the old suitcase full of cash. The band decides to play their soft rock song, Soft Lips, halfway through the journey. Okay, let me just stabilize the camera. And the starlet actress dances in the aisles. But the plane has a fuel leak and does a crash landing in the Amazon, where those who didn't get killed in the crash get eaten by crocs, or blown sky high when the plane explodes. Nobody makes it out alive, except for the kid. Now, using the now empty coffin as a boat, Henry travels down the Amazon until he reaches the shore, then gets out and is captured by a tribe of Jivara Indians, descendants of the Incas, who initially planned to use him as a sacrificial gift to their god Inti, until the king gets an eyeful of the light reflected off Henry's blonde hair and believes that Henry is the son of their god. So he gets a rock star treatment, until a rival faction of the Jivaras decide to invade and try to kill the kid, until the Henry's stuffed plush tiger, that he carries around all the time, inexplicably does a Pinocchio and kicks some ass. Henry is then found by his frantic father, who's leading the search operation, and goes home with quite a story to tell. For fans of those crappy B-movies, whose very wretchedness becomes the salvation of a form of unintentional humour, Terror in the Jungle is pretty much a choice piece of visual enjoyment for them, and it's filled with plenty of curious touches that makes it rather interesting if you're lying businesses and watching bad movies. There's quite a bit in this new junket that proves funny. The initial part of the film on the plane is the prototype of what the Zucker brothers achieved with the immortal 1980 comedy Airplane, which unknown in Australia's Flying High, only less funnier than that. Me thinks that the Zuckers saw this film and reckoned they could do better, in the process crafting one of the greatest comedies of the 1980s and the template for a whole genre of rapid-fire joke films. The plane crash is also quite amusing, but once the film reaches land, it strands itself like a beached whale. The kid is clearly not acting, too young to fake tears. I would hate to think how the filmmakers managed to get the kid to cry, or for given this was his only role so far and it was 52 years ago, I don't think the details matter too much now, which makes him by default the best actor in the cast. Everybody else is either phoning it in or cleaning out Oscar material, which is sad given the potential of the material. The jungle and temple scenes are reasonable but nothing special, and pretty boring in stretches. There's not much in this film to provide anything other than a beer and pizza night with the bros, or an MST3K style heckling match, but it's not exactly a terrible film either. Oh, and the Ceccazo Award, that's Italian for what the fuck, goes to the ending where the plush tiger becoming real for a moment and killing the kid's assailant before returning to doll form, and little Henry being found by his grateful dad. Also worth noting is that due to the mediocre audio recording, the line where Henry's father, after finding him, tells him, "You've got quite a story to tell, you're very tired," but the way it's recorded sounds like you're retired. Ironic, don't you think? A stupid film that proves to be a good choice for the bad movie cult, often not entertaining enough to get anything above a D+ from me. This is a 3 out of 10, and certainly not one of my alternate ratings in AD range. Now, for the gore, there's some surprisingly gory deaths for the period, but in saying that, it's not substantial. People get stabbed, there's some close-up stab wounds, and one person getting his head cleaved in half, but only a brief profile shot, and only mild stage blood wounds make up on victims' heads. There's no nudity here either. Now for the DVD, this was released into various Mill Creek multipacks in USA. My copy is from the Pure Terror set. And unlike the majority of films on those specs, this one has a decent transfer. But then again, all the Crown titles that were released by Mill Creek do have really good picture quality. The only issue I have with the print is that the editing is choppy, meaning that there was probably a slightly longer cut in existence. You can notice because the opening credits have a brief jump in it. But if there is a longer cut, it doesn't seem to be around any longer. Now, I don't do requests, but if you want to know if I have a certain film in my collection, just hit me up in the comments page, and I'll answer. Anyway, I hope you guys are staying safe. Kind of a nice day out here, and I hope you enjoy more of these reviews, and that's it for